Welcome to Two Women in Crypto, a weekly podcast birthed on a whim by two women who are excited about the cryptocurrency landscape and have a shared passion about empowering others to step into the digital, tokenized world of the future. We offer tips, tricks, and our own individual insights as to how to begin to navigate this shift. We are not financial advisors nor experts. We are just here to encourage you to look at the possibilities. So welcome to the future. You're right on time. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I like to refer to Friday, as Freya Friday, from the esoteric standpoint. And it is what it is. And it's a beautiful day. Always, every day is a beautiful day.
Freya Friday. If you're in my world, it's Fun Food Friday. Put those salads down. Go get yourself a burger and fries.
Sounds good. I'll put that on my list of things for today. Absolutely. Got to get out in the world a little bit.
Yeah.
So welcome back. We're super excited to have you with us. Just a couple of housekeeping items on the front side is that we have our class tomorrow, which I'm super, super, super excited about. It's the overview of the U.S. central banking system. And you will find the details on our website under classes and events. We'd love to see you sitting in the room with us. We have a great community, and Andrea has put together this amazing cornucopia of information that we can really dive into and things that weren't taught to us in school. I mean, and of course, it's been a long time since I've been in school. Let's be real, but it's not easily accessible information unless you really know where to dig. So super excited about that. And gosh, let's kind of dive into the news because it's kind of there's a lot going on yet again.
I know. It's so hard for me not to start. I have so many jingles in my head about Gary Gensler.
Jingle. Yeah, I'm sure. Right.
So people that haven't been doing any kind of dives into the news this past week. So Gary Gensler, he's the chairman of the SEC. He basically said there's 8 cryptos that he announced that are securities. Okay. So there's a couple big ones. One of them is AMP. We actually talked about that probably 6-7 months ago. It kind of for immediate settlement. It's being rolled out all across the United States. So if you go get gas, you go into a convenience store, you could pay with any crypto, and that AMP is held as collateral for immediate exchange. So you're not waiting the 10 minutes for your Bitcoin to clear. So they said that that's a security. XYO, which is, I know, one of the big ones in your community.
Yeah.
And a whole list of others. Rally is a social token. We have DDX, DFX, POWR, LCX, KROM, RGT. And again, I think it's just a good reminder, right, Kel? Get your coins off all the exchanges.
Yeah.
We are in a currency war. We are in a technological war. We're in a geopolitical war. We are in every kind of war. Okay. It's an uncertain time.
It really is. And it was I think it was Coin Bureau that posted something about that yesterday. And I found that, and he speaks to that exact point. We are in a war. If you want to consider this a third world war, absolutely, based on technology, based on information. I mean, of course, it's broad spectrum. Like you said, it covers so many bases on the world's landscape, but we really are in that energy.
No, I mean, and look, we're alive. We don't need people to tell us this, right? Anyone who's half tuned in knows the world is changing. We're not going back to the way the world was. We're moving into a new world. A new layer of internet is being built. It's called the blockchain. And everything is going to be driven towards technology. The whole entire population will be re-educated. I thought about that this morning, Kel, whether it was intuitive or not, we've spent the last couple years of our lives re-educating ourselves to shift into the new economy.
Right.
And we did it because we had this like interest, and, we wanted to kind of like talk about what's going on, not realizing what this was going to evolve into, which is like beautiful and everything else. But, I think it's really important to share this podcast with people. There's great videos out there. I saw Gary Gensler's talking at MIT. He was a professor at MIT. He taught the blockchain. There's a video going around with him speaking to his class about XRP being a neutral bridge currency for cross-border settlements between a digital currency. He called it a digital currency. So again, they know, when we say they, it's like the elite power structure that's in control at the moment. They know their plan. And when I see things like BlackRock going into partnership with Coinbase, okay?
I know, that was so interesting to see that, because you question that, and please continue, of course, because it's here Coinbase is really under the microscope, but somehow they end up with this partnership with BlackRock. I find so fascinating.
Right. And I think a lot of this is like, we're coming into like, intermission is over. Like if this is a play, because I look at it's theater, right?
Right. Exactly.
So intermission's over. And now we're getting closer to like maybe the grand finale. So when you look at the news and you see Terra Luna collapsing, Celsius collapsing, Voyager collapsing, the SEC is going after Coinbase, Binance, 4 other exchanges announced this morning. Okay, so we see all these things, but then we see BlackRock partners with Coinbase to allow institutional investors to buy Bitcoin and more crypto to come using Coinbase Prime. So what's that platform? They're using Aladdin. So BlackRock has a platform called Aladdin that manages Tesla's money, Microsoft's money, Apple's money, $22.1 trillion, Kelly. Are you effing kidding me? And people are like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. I'm like, oh my God.
I swear to goodness, we could have so many t-shirts. We really should go into the t-shirt business, because there's so many metaphors we could be placing out there. I did not know that. I really did not know. And I didn't know the dollar figure, of course, but I didn't know the back end of all that.
Yeah, well, that's what I do, right? So I just, when I think about these things, and Fidelity's been pushing for a Bitcoin ETF, Grayscale, the largest asset manager of cryptocurrency, traded on the New York Stock Exchange, they've been getting rejected for an ETF. It's hard for me not to get fired up, because during mass fear was when we should buy. Dollar cost average. We don't know what the bottom is. There's people saying Bitcoin's going to go to 12,000, 15,000, 3,000. But like Kelly and I keep saying, it was 69,000. There's only $1 trillion in the cryptocurrency market. Well, what happens when it's 20 trillion?
It's unfathomable, really. I mean, that makes your head spin. And those that are not into the market, of course, they just don't even know how to approach it. And that's why we have these podcasts every week.
Yeah, definitely. And I love, we do the podcast. There's so much good information. I mean, you can literally sit down with, every single podcast and just write down, fact check us.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just doing the deep dive.
Yeah. We're just bringing you the news with no judgment. It's we try, right? We're humans, but yeah, it's just like, but when I see the mass adoption, Goldman Sachs backing Circle. Circle does the USDC, which is the unofficial digital dollar of the United States. Like you can take your USDC and transfer it to a SafePal wallet that costs $47. Okay. And you can not have your freaking money stolen if they wind up having to restructure the debt. And it's $47 and maybe like, you know, a little couple bucks to help, you know, to learn how to do it if you can't figure it out on your own.
Yeah,
But like,
absolutely.
you know, I hear people all the time, Kelly, I work so hard for my money. You work hard for it, but you don't work hard to protect it, do you? And it's not a judgment. It's what it is.
Well, we've just become very complacent because, you know, you've just been told to do things a certain way. And so you do it without thinking outside the box. And gosh, if you're not thinking outside the box, and I know we say it every podcast, just really leaning into that. And what Andrea was mentioning was a hard wallet. A hard wallet is a device. It's a storage device that allows you to keep your cryptocurrency off the market. So basically it's in a cold storage, it's in a vault. So you think about having a little safe in Switzerland, that's kind of like what your Safe Pal is all about. It's your money, nobody has access to it, and it's not active until you put it back on an exchange to trade it to whatever it is you're going to do with it. So really, really important stuff. And Safe Pal is one of our favorite wallets to work with.
Definitely. And it's the most cost effective, you know, so like Ledger and Trezor is also good, you know, it's like a preference, but you know, I just feel like something under $50 that, you know, even if you keep like just a little bit of your cash, you don't feel comfortable like holding crypto right now for whatever reason. You know, I'm a big believer of diversification, right, Kel? So I want my gold, I want my silver, I want my food, I want my water, I want my community, and I want cash, and I want cash in the house, and I want cash out of the bank.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm curious, just I'm not sure if you're weaving this in anywhere. What do you think about the influx of USDT and BUSD that's happened over the last few days? Like big time dollars. And interestingly enough, I haven't really looked at the market yet this morning. We haven't seen a pump based on that influx of new money coming in. So what are your thoughts there?
Well, really, Kelly, my thoughts are we don't have a free market. So,
oh, okay. Let me go get a shot of whiskey this morning. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, right.
I mean, let's just like think about it. So like BlackRock is like the largest company in the world. They have, you know, they're what? They're worth over $10 trillion. So it's just like if cryptocurrency is 1 trillion, can one company manipulate the price? I mean, who knows what the truth is, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Tether. Everyone uses Tether. You know, there's a lot of projects that were built with Tether, you know, like Meta Hero. It's like, if you want to buy Meta Hero, it's tied to Tether. Well, if the SEC goes after Tether and says, well, you're an unregulated dollar, then Tether's counterfeit. So you've allowed Tether to be traded for all these years, year after year after year. I mean, would they do that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on it?
You know, I think what you bring up is obviously it's truth. We don't really know. And a majority of the projects out there are tied to Tether. I mean, you're seeing depegging from certain things and a lot of shifting going around. And of course, there was a concern about Tether's depegging, you know, when Luna was going through its own. And I think it depegged a bit. I think it went down to what, 0.95 or so. Anyway, I think it's something to be mindful of. But you know, nobody has a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen. I can't imagine that they'll pull the rug on all of that. I just can't see how they could do that. But they could, you know, who knows?
Yeah. Well, you know, the other thing that's kind of really interesting too, because as the SEC, you know, and we could see it's like there's a power grab. Who's going to control the new financial system? Is it the SEC? Is it the CFTC? There was another bill just put into Congress, I believe yesterday or the day before. You know, it's a Digital Commodities Protection Act. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The senator of Michigan, and I forget the other senator, but, you know, another really well-written bill that pretty much places the control of digital assets, you know, into the CFTC, so Commodities Future Trading Commission. So I like that idea, like, especially after seeing everything with Gary Gensler. Like, I just, I feel like I don't know. I'm getting off on a tangent here, but I think about how they're so worried about cryptocurrency with anti-money laundering and like all shenanigans on the crypto exchanges. But here we have the SEC, whose primary job is to protect the investors of America. And all they're doing is like not protecting us, right? They're wiping out billions and trillions of dollars like out of the market. And you saying, you know what I mean? Like they're doing the exact opposite of what their mission statement is. So why even have them at this point? What good are they doing?
Well, and I think what's interesting about that is a lot of people, and it goes back to what we shared and spoke of at the very beginning, is a lot of people don't even know that. They don't even recognize that part. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the tragedy of much of the situation as well, is that we really just don't understand what's happening in the theater, as you speak of.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I look at the play and the scene that we're in, and I look at, it's like, even like, oh my gosh, I know, like we kind of touched base on this like late last night. JP Morgan had 3 big time executives leave to go into cryptocurrency. And JP Morgan has its blockchain. Why are they leaving?
Right.
I mean, the one person, the manager director, after 21 years of working at JP Morgan, he just joined Algorand. Yep. So he's going to head like business development and capital markets for Algorand.
And those of you that may not be aware, Algorand is also part of the ISO 222 framework, which is really a pivotal part of what our financial landscapes are going to be looking like moving forward. So
not financial advice, just our digital
not at all.
research perspective. We have a great song called It's Now or Never. It talks a lot about the ISO 222 tokens.
Yes, check us out again. That link is on our website, but it's 2 Women in Crypto at YouTube. But you can go, we have the Hodlrs. If you query the hodlrs.net, it'll take you to that page and you'll see, I think 4 or 5 songs now that we've launched, and Now or Never is one of them. And our most recent one, Oh Jerome, Put Your Printer on the Shelf, is a toe tapper good fun. So
much awesome feedback on that song. It's a fun song. And when I think about It's Now or Never, Kelly, I mean, it's now or like crypto's not going to wait, y'all. It's getting adopted. The infrastructure, the rails, like everything is getting built. All these systems are going to connect. And it's like, all week, like I try to like, I wish we could all like time the market, but we can't, right? So we just got to be in the market and have some time holding your cryptocurrency digital assets, hopefully offline, and just wait, because the world is changing. Like Rosie Ray says, the train has left the station.
It has, but we're still not, we still can catch it before the caboose goes by. But, the thing that we talked about is what is going to happen is like, how is this all going to play out? Is it going to be like a rug pull completely? Is there going to be a complete rug pull and we're just going to be forced into a system? Or is it going to be a gradual rollout?
Well, Jerome keeps saying he would like a soft landing. And the other thing I thought about that too is like, we had 2 official quarters of negative GDP, right? So that officially technically puts us into a recession. But what they're saying is we're not in a recession, we're in a transition. So what are we doing? Are we transitioning from one economy to another?
That would make sense to me.
Right? So it's like, and what's that new economy? And I pray every day that we're going to have the dollar. I want the dollar. I want physical cash, at least for a while, because again, like as that we have like this currency and technology war. I had shared a great video from one of the congressional hearings, and it was a gentleman explaining like, what is Bitcoin? You know what I mean? And the importance of privacy and the importance of not a handful of companies owning all of our data. Okay. It's really, really important. So it's kind of like we're going through this. I mean, I don't really call it like a battle. They've already agreed blockchain is the new financial system, but is that going to be decentralized or is that going to be centralized? And that, like, I love this technology. I'm a huge proponent of so many things about how this can better the lives of humanity if it's decentralized. And I don't think we're going to lose, but again, the battle will continue, but it'll be great once we get mass adoption. And like Kelly said, we probably will have one more big crash. We don't know if there's going to, we don't know if there's going to be a big rug pull or if they have to crash the system in order to get people to buy into the new system. Because most people don't really know what crypto is, right?
Right, exactly. The majority of the population doesn't.
But they will know what it is because not only are we moving away from capitalism and a goods and services economy, we're moving towards a knowledge-based economy, according to these folks. So you will get the knowledge to be retrained for the new economy.
Well, if you're going to participate in the world, that's how their framework, I mean, it's just what it is. If you're going to participate in the world, you're going to have to, start leaning in a bit. I mean, and I experience it, and I'm not really out in the world a whole lot. I think there's a lot of us that aren't, based on whatever's been happening over the last however many years. But when I do decide to step my toe into it, it's like fascinating what I have to do to get things done. It's like, wow, like, looking for a new insurance for your automobile or anything of this nature. They have my whole history. They're like, boom, 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 like just like that. I'm like, oh, wow, interesting.
No, it's such a good point, and again, it's like our world is changing. I jumped on LinkedIn this morning and it's like CVS, you need a doctor, go to CVS.
Yep.
It's just, it is what it is. But with that, we're going to move on. Let's talk about this Ethereum merge because we've been talking about this all week and it's pretty exciting.
Well, yeah, I really want to lean into this part because I think there's a lot of things waiting to see what's going to happen here on the Ethereum side. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So we're looking right now. So Ethereum is in the process of moving from proof of work, which is what Bitcoin is, to proof of stake. Okay. So I think they're like probably maybe once the merge happens, they'll be like 55% done. But this is a huge, significant milestone to move from proof of work to proof of stake. Okay. So basically what's going to happen is on September 19th, just as long as there's no delays, again, this is something we probably want to keep our eyes open to, because if we think about 30%, currently 9% of all ETH holders stake their coins, and they're expecting 30% of all Ethereum holders to lock up their coins. Okay. That's a big jump.
That's a big percentage.
And you're locking up your coins to earn that interest from staking on the blockchain to help stabilize, the platform, and they'll pay you interest. But what happens when BlackRock investors, Fidelity, Ethereum ETFs come around? Like, all of this money is coming in. More and more people are going to stake in ETH. Ethereum is the largest smart contract platform in the world. I believe it is owned by consensus with JP Morgan. Whether we like these folks or not, this is the world right now. So it's really interesting to me. And again, it's also interesting that 3 people just left, but, JP Morgan. But again, it's like, when we think about the money that's coming in, the upgrades to these systems, will Ethereum go up in price or will it go down in price?
Well, go up in price, in my opinion.
Right.
But I'm not a financial advisor.
Me neither. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Right. So once the market dips, and I do feel it might pump up, and then we'll have one more crash. And then we're going to, we just start coming out of this crypto winter and see mass adoption, because this is where we're at. No more early innovative stages. This is actually, people are going to be using this, like, oh my God, can you believe people are using all these different cryptos at the store? Like, it's coming. But I think, anywhere between 750 and like 1,000, I'll start buying up Ethereum, because again, there's big news for Ethereum coming. They're moving forward with their merge. I believe we're going to have like a large supply shock once everybody participates in staking their coins. So there's going to be a huge, huge demand. Institutions are going to flow in because of all of the yield that they're going to be able to receive by staking their coins.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to predict what the price is going to be, but I would guesstimate probably by like 2024, 2025, anywhere between like 8 and 20 grand for one Ethereum. I'm not a financial advisor. This is total speculation for your, for your education and for fun. But, it's fun to talk about some of these things. But like, when we think about, there's $1 trillion in the overall blockchain industry, and how much Bitcoin, Ethereum, the ISO 222 tokens are going to grow. All the platforms to connect and create this internet of value, so the coins can flow through the new layer of the internet. It blows my mind, and it's kind of cool.
Well, it is. And I think there's so many, aspects of it, like you say, is cool, exciting. And did you see this morning that the Binance card announced that it's now supporting SHIB?
Ooh, I did not. That is awesome.
Yeah. So, I know, and, there's a few people out there that have kind of been going through a very tenuous time in terms of their experience with Voyager and Celsius and things of that nature. But I do believe that there is stability, like you say, and that we say every week here, being formed. And I think that Binance is one of those stabilizing arms, at least at this point. I know that the SEC has talked about Binance as well. But anyway, just in terms of adoption, I wanted to share that piece too that was announced this morning.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is too, like, I know, like, specifically with Binance, Coinbase, and it's funny, no one's going after Uphold. Very interesting.
They have not been, nor has crypto.com been in the news yet. Let's hope they stay up.
Maybe that was part of the 4 exchanges that Gary had announced today. But the thing is, the more pressure and the more ridiculousness that Gary Gensler is putting on these companies. There was an old SEC commissioner basically warned Gary Gensler, back off. And now Carolyn Pham, everybody should be following her, PHAM. She works for the CFTC. It's going to naturally shift the power to the CFTC to regulate all the different, cryptos. And like most of the cryptocurrencies, even if they started off as a security, they're more and more decentralized now. XRP, Cosmos, Cardano, all these tokens have like over hundreds and hundreds of nodes. Okay. Regular banking systems have one node.
Yep.
So when we talk about security and safety with our data, like the data breaches in this country are off the charts. I think half of all Americans that use Equifax during that Bitcoin YouTube video, it was half of our identities got stolen, our social security numbers. These systems are not safe, and we're going to upgrade them. And once that regulation comes in, and think about it, Kelly, once the regulation comes in, then we have the Ripple XRP lawsuit. It will end one day, right? So Brad Garlinghouse thinks it's going to be the beginning of 2023 now. That could be perfect timing for regulation to come in. We have BlackRock, we have Fidelity, we have all the major institutions behind the scenes buying up crypto. It's just, I think I could see the building. I can feel it and I can see it. The next bull run, in my opinion, is, I mean, it's going to be fantastic for all crypto holders.
Well, if you do a zoom out on technical analysis and you just look at Bitcoin and how it's gone, I mean, what's going to happen next is pretty unfathomable in a way. If you look at it, if you look at the potentiality of the chart movement, it's crazy. And I really think that 2023 makes sense. We've got to get through this year. You know, typically when you come to, you know, we're in the last part of the year, like it or not. I know it's still summertime, but fall is in the air. You know, you're going to have that additional movement towards the end of the year, which happens every year as people prepare to, you know, navigate the taxes and things of that nature. So 2023 makes sense, which is exciting because it takes about 6 months to put a bottom into a market anyway. Right. So if we are closer to a bottom, even though we may be still kind of in this bear flaggish energy, once we get through September, you know, I think the bottom is getting placed. And overarchingly, when you lean into all the expert technical analysis out there, and I am not one of those, I just have my own way of reading the charts. That's where we're in right now. So 2023, and then the halvings in 2024, I'm super excited. You know, I just am super excited and very, very hopeful about the whole thing.
Yep. So Bitcoin halving, that it happens every 4 years. It increases the difficulty of mining, which decreases inflation. So like, you know, Bitcoin, the way that it was designed was to be deflationary. So, and this is one of the reasons why every 4 years, you know, the Bitcoin market just goes into a bull run, right? So just, you know, just something to really think about. But yeah, and then I think like that's when we're going to start to see like mass adoption. You know, everything's going on the blockchain. You know, we see like VeChain, you know, it's like they just partnered with AWS, right? I know.
So excited about that. I saw that. Thank you for sharing that. We have Two Women in Crypto has a membership group, which is so amazing. If anybody's interested, check out our website. It's a great opportunity to get some insight into Andrea's research or whatever we pick up throughout the week. But that was super exciting to see that because I'm a big proponent of VeChain.
Yep. So again, it's just like, you know, the entire global supply chain is going to change. And VeChain, not financial advice, but in my opinion, and this is something I've been watching for several years now, is going to be one of the leaders. And they have a great team. I just, you know, I'm a big believer of the project. And I've been holding VeChain for a really long time. So super excited about it. So yeah.
It's so nice to have some good news out there.
Well, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I mean, I know there's a lot of bad news out there. I'm not like downplaying it. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, there's so much good news to be had, right? And I get that people were afraid, you know, and people lost money, but it's like, it's the same thing when the internet first came about. A lot of people lost a lot of money. Companies went out of business, like good companies went out of business. And I just, you know, but again, it's like the internet eventually like took over. You know, it's like I see people complain about Bitcoin. I can't use Bitcoin. It takes too long. Like, how am I supposed to use this for payment systems? Let the markets mature. It's still super immature. And like the developers are now working with Bitcoin to wrap it with XDC, which gives it that ISO 222 mark. And you can trade it wrapped in a second. So, you know, again, we're seeing the markets, and I kept talking about the ISO 222 tokens, right? So I just, you know, we're seeing this actually play out, which to me is like so validating, right, Kelly? I mean, we've been together now for a while, and I just, through all of my research and everything that I've looked at, listening to Jerome Powell, Janet Yellen, you know, Augustin Carstens, like all of the people, the IMF, everyone. And they tell us, and they've been telling us Like I saw a video with Mark Zuckerberg talking about the knowledge economy 8 years ago. They knew this was going to happen. Joe Biden spoke at the World Economic Forum. I believe it was 6 years ago. Okay, he was the keynote speaker at the forum with Klaus Schwab, talking about the data revolution and how they're going to have a middle class. And you can tell by looking at that video to how he's declined now.
Yeah, I mean,
because the guy was like super sharp. He was, and I just, again, it's like, who's running our country? I'm not a political person. I know people are like, I loved your video last week. I'm afraid to share it with my friends because they're Democrat. I'm not anti-Democrat. I'm not anti-Republican. I am pro-human.
Right. Pro-mankind.
I am for everyone.
Right.
And the quicker we can kind of see this, like, I don't think like the people in charge are making decisions based on what's best for us.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's puppeteering we know that the political stage is a puppeteering game to some degree. That's just my opinion, whatever it may be. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are happening out there on that stage that should really be begging everybody to rub their chin. There's got to be some changes, and they're going to come whether we like it or not. And it's going to be probably big changes quickly, even on the political front, based on just health and well-being.
Yeah, it's like change happens really, really slowly and then all at once, right? And that's pretty much where we're at. And speaking of change, really, really slowly and all at once, we can see certain businesses changing. Like the notary business, right? I mean, the notary business is changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great segue because one of the things that I've done in my business for years is I've used like digital signing, for everything that I've done through all publishing contracts, whatever it is that you have to do when you're running a business. And that has always been super, super easy. And I myself am in a place of needing to have some notary work. And so we're so excited to be partnering with a company by the name of Markley, and it's Markley online. Let me go ahead and share my screen here so everybody can see. So Markley Mobile Signing Services, part of the data revolution, part of making things super, super simple. If you need anything done on a personal or business level that requires notary service, this is going to be your go-to. Super simple, super accessible. And, if you reach out to them, they'll give you a discount code prior to any of the services you may need. So I would highly encourage it. I know that I have a myriad of things that I need to be addressing myself soon. And it is part of the world within which we live. And it's nice to be able to do it without having to necessarily go to your bank, right around the corner, so to speak, in this knowledge-based technological world we live in. So check it out. We highly, highly recommend these services, and the people are great behind it, right? We're so fortunate.
So fortunate. And I remember too, like just trying to go and like sell our houses, during the height of COVID, and just like no one could even give us a notary. We had to go to 3 different banks. So I really appreciate Markley Services, and that was a sponsored video, just to be transparent. So we appreciate any sponsorship. Anyone who's interested in supporting 2 women in crypto, so you can support the Hodlrs. We are open. Just to put
absolutely.
Yep.
And so again, on the website, if you go to sponsors and affiliates, we're right there, and we're fortunate. We've got a couple already, but we really are looking to partner with individuals that are making the world a better place in this new economy, in this new world's landscape. So, yep.
All right, cool. So so just to get back to Ethereum, because I kind of want to tie in Ethereum and talk a little bit about Polygon, which is Matic, MATIC. So Matic has been doing really, really well, right? So it's an ERC20 token that was supposed to be built to help Ethereum scale, right? Because Ethereum really can't scale, and it was hopefully going to help like lower transaction fees as well. But now Matic is becoming almost its own thing. But the Ethereum merge and Polygon together it's actually going to propel both of those platforms. And Polygon has been in the news a lot about promoting their decentralized digital ID. I know we all don't want an ID. I would encourage everybody to wait as long as you possibly can to get a digital ID, because a lot of these companies say that they are decentralized and then something happens in their system, i.e. Solana, and there's like a back door to kind of like shut it down. That's centralized. Okay. So, again, Kelly and I are looking, we're always researching this. I would like to lean more towards like a Pulse Chain or Cardano if I have to get a digital ID. I think anything that has to do with Ethereum, I don't 100% trust. Just because of JP Morgan, Consensus, like they were big time investors in Ethereum. There's videos like all over the place of people speaking about how they invested in this company, which is what Gary Gensler is calling a security, but they get a free pass for now.
For now,
right? I know. We'll see. I mean, things are changing very, very quickly. But again, it's like the amount of like NFTs and companies, like we talked about, Disney, right? Disney's going into Polygon, using Polygon's platform. We're starting to see more and more companies choose Polygon over Ethereum. So I think Polygon is another crypto that has a very, very bright future, for sure.
And if I remember correctly, and this is going to go back to some of our earlier podcasts, in unstoppable domains, if you choose to secure your own domain on the blockchain, you would then print it through Polygon, if I remember correctly. I think it was Polygon, wasn't it?
I think that is correct.
Yes.
The other, I know there was another, I'm trying to think. So there's a company called Verite, Verite. They partnered with Polygon and they're integrating on Circle, which I believe is going to be a bank. I believe it already is a bank, backed by Goldman Sachs, but they're going to be integrating Polygon's ID.
Yep. I love Matic. I love Polygon, one of my favorites. Not financial device, but disclosure. I do have some in my little changer's purse.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I love Costa Rica. I've always wanted to go there. And now when we go, we could go to the Bitcoin jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. Yeah, there you go. That's the next song.
Your fiat money's no good here. We only take digital coin. You see how it just keeps coming. So anyway, so you could go to Costa Rica. They have a bunch of different towns now that will accept Bitcoin over fiat. Honduras created Bitcoin Valley. So there's like 60 different like restaurants and shops and things like that only take Bitcoin. So again, it's always going to start with emerging dollars, but we can see, right, when we go to the grocery store and just when we want to go buy a car, how much our dollars are being devalued. It's not that things are getting more expensive. It takes more dollars to buy the same good, right? If I want to go buy my butter pre-pandemic, it was $3.99. Post-pandemic, it's $5.69. Yeah. Okay, so it's the butter hasn't gotten better. The butter hasn't changed. I just need more dollars to buy that. And I think that's kind of a good way to like for us to start like rewiring our minds to not just think about dollars. I'm not saying don't have dollars. We all should have dollars, but we should all have as many different assets as we can through uncertain times.
Right. And we speak of course, holding silver, gold, and you can lean into copper. You could, all of those metals I would definitely be taking a peek at.
Yep. And I'm still, so I'm in like the process of scheduling, like I'll do like maybe a podcast with my local gold guy. I've been speaking to him. I just, with everything that's been going on, it's been a little delayed, but I talked to Dan yesterday and we will be scheduling, maybe we'll do like a live, like I'll ask Dan a bunch of questions about gold and silver. If anybody has specific questions, send them all in now, and I'll add it into the interview with our local gold and silver guy.
Yeah, and on a fun note, you should share your new knowledge in regards to the pennies on the copper node, because that was a kick when you called, and I'm like, I don't hold any pennies anymore. I might have a few, but share that little insight. I thought that was fun.
So any pennies, I believe, that are 1981 or earlier, right? If we think about the new digital economy and how copper is going to be a big part of that, I started looking through my pennies just to start putting the ones aside. Because if we think about a quarter, like a silver quarter, that's like 1964, that's real silver. If you have any old coins, it's not worth face value. It's worth way more. So right. I found a 1934 Faraday penny, and I looked it up online, and it was worth $1.
Oh, so see, I mean, if you want to go, and what comes to mind is I have a friend who has a property out in the gorge here, and they have a penny table that has been laminated. It's super, super cool. And I'm like, oh, you might want to take a look at that table. How much is that table worth?
Well, and you don't know, right? Because
right.
There's still like wheat pennies out in circulation. So like flip your pennies over, anything with wheat, look up the date, do a brave search online, and you might have a penny that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So it kind of is like fun for me to have like little fun projects around the house. So I'm like looking through all my coins right now.
Well, and I always call, when I see pennies or dimes, it's always to me kind of like a gift from spirit. And it's always so, just look when you're walking and you see a penny on the ground, you never know what kind of gifts are going to appear. So.
Yep. This is awesome. Cool. All right. So I'm pretty much going to wrap up. I'm looking through our comments. Hey, Heather. Hi, Mary.
Awesome.
And hi, Anthony. Welcome. Yep. All right. Awesome. Yeah, this is great. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody. We're going to do a deep dive into the Federal Reserve tomorrow. That's our class. Why was the Federal Reserve created? What was going on? Where are we now? And where are we going, folks? Come and find out. 2 Women in Crypto. We're doing it tomorrow. See you at 11 o'clock Eastern time.
All right. See all of you that will join us. And until then, everybody,
hodl on.
Hodl on. Your hosts for 2 Women in Crypto are Andrea Caldero and Kelly Lair. You'll find more information and details regarding the 2 Women in Crypto membership, educational and informative class and event offerings, and more via their website, 2womenincrypto.com. Both Andrea and Kelly are available for speaking events and offer private consultations focused on helping individuals navigate the future. Until next time, hodl on.